check camera display. Let's just get rid of me real quick. Hello, hand. There we go. Let's get this down here to talk into back and then home. There it is. Okay. Hide that. Turn that off. Sound check myself. No chat yet. I don't think anyone's viewing because I should be live on YouTube, but it just doesn't show that I'm live on YouTube. I'm going to refresh. Oh, there it is. I can just sound check myself here. I have time for this crap. Okay. Oh, there it is. That's all I needed. All right. Okay. Surrounded by garbage. I am surrounded by garbage this morning. Oh, and we turned it on. We got plenty of power. We got an old dusty rubber glove. Old dusty rubber glove. Don't know what I'm going to be doing. But I know we're going to be stepping into it this morning. Got a crap ton of these Steel Legion guys, and I get up here and I just ask myself, do I have time for this shit? Well, I do, but I don't have time for this shit oh, what's up, Shadow? How you doing? Hello, Historical. I got one American, one Brit so far. Hell yeah. I asked myself, do I have time for this? No, I don't. Not when the tech doesn't work. I wanted to try to do a Canvas stream this morning, and for the life of me, Rumble wouldn't give me the stream code, so I couldn't plug it into OBS. And I tried like 2 times, and when you do that 2 times, each time is like 10 to 15 minutes, no matter what. Because you have to retype in everything. I always put the input in my notes on Google, but that way I can just copy paste. I make sure I get the thumbnail done, but I'm gonna have to start setting up for these streams first thing Saturday morning or some shit. That's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm just gonna have to set up for these things 1 day in advance and just have the thumbnail, the descriptions, everything ready to go, because I always run into this bullshit. I mean, but normally it runs smoothly. Normally it just runs smoothly. What's up, Nick Nation? How you doing? Uh-oh. That couldn't be good. We got to check the phone real quick. Make sure I'm not getting Instagram messages about things. All right. Nobody. Okay. I'm not roboting. I have some people who are nice enough to tell me when my shit is fucking up. So there's that. I always have to check the phone. Keep that on vibrate. On a more serious note, let's see if my chat works. We'll do ghosts, pumpkins, and bats because it's the season. Well, I didn't see it pop into... Oh, there it goes. Okay, chat's working. Sometimes I can't chat on Rumble. That's what happens when you've been banished out to new tech. Your shit doesn't work. You have to share your lawn with the lollyconners and the white supremacists and everybody else who's been banned off of every platform for no good reason. I did nothing wrong. I actually searched myself on AI, and AI cleansed me of all my sins. According to AI or ChatGPT, I'm just a humble tabletop blogger who does movie reviews, and that's all AI generated about me. I don't have anything to do with the Aryan Brotherhood or the Eugenics Eagles. Just double checking. And I wouldn't know how to signal these groups if I tried. Anyway, um, I asked myself the question when we played a game of Conquest last night, do I have time for this crap? Uh, you know, I think I do now more so than ever because of the airbrush. Or at least I'd like to think I have time for it because of the airbrush. But I always could be wrong. I grabbed a big old handful of these guys yesterday that I built, 12 in all. I actually have 5 stands worth of these things built and painted. As a matter of fact, I should get some real quick so that I can look at them for reference. Hell yeah. The big boys. I like to call these guys the big boys, you know. And let's see here. If you notice, if you're wondering where Aka-chan is right now, it is the season for Halloween. So we have given her the month off, and we're going to be stuck with Aaliyah from Queen of the Damned. Now, I have a soft spot in my heart for Aaliyah. I don't know about anybody else, but Aaliyah, that's probably a 9 or a 10. You know, she's got that sleek dancer's body. She actually was a professional dancer. I guess that's why white women and black women hate her, because she looks the way that they wish they looked as professional dancers. No, when you're a professional dancer, you tend to have a lean, athletic look, and you know, she made that role work. It wasn't the worst Anne Rice novel movie adaptation, but she did make it work. Kind of sad. You probably would have seen her come back as Queen of the Damned if what do you call it? She didn't die in that plane crash. But yeah, that's a rare individual indeed. Oh, it's good old Hungar, mute witness, morning fellas. So let's kind of get into this a little bit faster, you know. I played a game the other day. Let me move over here. We're going to open up here. And it didn't, I don't know if it went too well for me or not. Let's go back into OBS. Display capture is on, and we can make myself little. I have got to get a mouse pad. I need one of those anime mouse pads. That's what I need. All right, we're gonna get rid of Aaliyah. We got Strahd von Sarovich out there. It's some of the artwork. A friend of mine, Dylan, has the Ravenloft modules. He has the Ravenloft modules, and you open that primary box. This is on one of the sheets. So there's like some hardbound cardstock sheets that they give you, and but this is the artwork on one of this, and I forgot who this is. As a matter of fact, I know is this Clyde Codwell? I think it might be Clyde Codwell. Oh, now this is going to kill me. Hold on. This is going to kill me. I think Shadow would know. Yeah, a lot of this stuff was done by Clyde Codwell. Oh, God, dude. This is just, I don't know. This one in particular, that's my backdrop that I've used. This has been my backdrop forever. It's just, for me, it really is a masterpiece. Oh, those are the Trench Crusade rules. I know exactly what to do with those. Hold on. I know exactly what to do with those woke sons of bitches. Hey, Trench Crusade. Delete. Fuck you. Riverside, motherfucker. And we're emptying the recycling bin. Washing my hands. That's right. Okay, back on track here. Back to in holding. I've got all these folders. All right. Yeah, okay. Let me just double check OBS now. Make sure we got a good clear field of visions. For me, this just hits every single requirement for a masterpiece. You've got the gothic horror backdrop, which is just amazing. Like Bob Ross ain't got shit on Clyde Caldwell. End of story. There's a happy little tree right there. This tree looks like it's out in the backwoods of England where everything is depressing. You got your depressing tree. We're going to etch in some happy little mountains. Fuck no. This is going to be at what is it called? Either dawn or dusk, they sleep. He's about to go into that castle and have his way with this maiden. Hell yeah. You got your mist. You got your fog. You got your full moon. You got your vampire, Strahd von Zarovich. And then you got your damsel in distress. You got a gothic gargoyle over here. Some more gothic imagery over here. And, who knows what he's going to get up to? Who knows? I haven't, what I want to know, has anybody ever read all the way through every ounce of that shit there? It's like, here, we're going to put out a module, but you're going to need, if you're 12 years old, you're never going to be able to read it unless you have like a college reading level, Anyway, I digress. Let's see here, we'll go back into chat. Over here. All right. Oh, you have a tattoo of him standing on a balcony? I'll just put that to the top. Damn, that's dedication. I don't blame you. A lot of, like I said, Bob Ross ain't got shit on Clyde Caldwell. Some really good stuff, I mean, and that's a problem that's very prevalent, in my opinion, for gaming companies these days, that they don't employ the artists. There are a lot of unemployed artists out there who are just getting like $50 to $100 for every individual print that they do. Don't get me wrong. Some of these prints, they're really good. You can do these prints, and you can do probably a good artist. A good artist. How do you know if you're a good artist? Let's just go in here because we're on the subject of art. We'll take a. Let's see here. No. What is his name? Fernando. All right, yeah, images. All right, so Fernando Ruiz worked on Archie forever. Did a lot of Riverdale stuff. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. He also did Archie versus Predator. That he got the job by just drawing the best Predator that he could, and it looked absolutely nothing. And they were like, no, can you make an Archie version of Predator? But he'll whip out. One of these photos right here. Let's just find a good one that doesn't have any text on it. He'll whip out something like this in about 15, like the girl in the mirror will be done. This will all be done in about 25 minutes. And then he'll add the candles for another 25 minutes, and then he'll color it. And he's probably out 2.5 hours for just this. After he inks it, after he gets everything the way that he wants it and everything like that, he's probably out 2.5 hours to finish. But he can whip out a Sabrina like this. This literally takes him to draw it 15 minutes, and then to color it probably another 15, and then people buy that. And there's a lot of good artists out there on Instagram that sell their art like that, but they're not getting any of the big jobs, you know. Uh, what's his name from Spawn? Todd McFarlane. He held a contest looking for artists on Instagram, and he was initially looking to hire 3 artists, and he ended up hiring like 9. He says, "I'm going to expand it to 9 art. I'm going to expand it by 6, so we're going to 9 artists because too many of you are too damn good." And you know, God bless him. You know, that's a good thing there. You know, but that's just like this is a good standard. You know, if you can whip this out in less than 15 minutes, color it, and then be done with it in about if this is like 45 minutes of work, you know you've arrived. You know, he does this stuff like he's ordering a pizza, mostly from memory, you know, which I find impressive. All right, so I guess we had this game. Where am I here? Okay. Conquest here, and I don't know if I played through it all the way correctly, and I gotta bring it over here because everything. All right, so this is kind of what the board setup looked like once we got going. All this over here is off of the table. Usually in Conquest, you play on a 4x4. Oh, look, there are my knights fighting the fallen divinity. And I'm going to change a few things up so that I have more stuff. There's the Steel Legion in the background, the crossbowmen. Like, I'm starting to think that the shooting in the game is a waste of time, maybe. I don't know. Especially when I'm fighting Old Dominion, because these things fucking suck to fight against. And it was scenario 3 out of the main rule book. Where's my next? There it is. So here we are mixing it up. He brought his knights on, which are a medium choice, and they're actually a really good unit, by the way. Came on. Of course, he killed these scrubs like he was ordering a pizza. And I think they did a couple wounds to him when they marched on, but I was just trying to get up there onto the objective to make room for bigger units like this. And then, let's see here. I did successfully complete a charge against this. Now, I don't know if I'm doing this correctly, but let me get... I have a notebook with some of the shit in there. Now, I don't know if it's baked into the profile, so somebody who knows Conquest, let me know. Let's see here. So the Household Guard, they have support advanced training and support +1, so would they normally just have support 3, or is it you have support 3 +1, which makes it support 4? Because with the way this sets up here, and we'll just zoom in on it, even with this kind of a charge, I'd have 4 attacks per stand. And that's how support works, as long as I'm not engaged to the, what do you call it, side or rear. That's how that works. And of course, this unit has cleave 1 and everything. And then, let's see here. We engaged that. We killed a bunch of those guys. But and then I fought a dual action right here with with the Zeliarch. I hate that piece of shit because the Zeliarch is a dual machine. He's got Quicksilver, so you have to survive his attacks in order for your attacks to strike. It's like, think of it as always strikes first. So I took 3 wounds from that dual action. He took a couple. You can just barely make out the dice underneath his cape there. And then, let's see here. We'll go over here. We were bringing these guys on because we were going to charge them. They came on, and they dropped the ball. They were supposed to finish off this unit. And then one problem I had were those fucking carries, or whatever the fuck they are. These fuckers. They can shoot into close combat, and it really sucks because they just do double damage for every hit that they get. Like... They just shoot a unit, and it's like, oh, you have to take 12 resolve checks at your lowest resolve. And a resolve is, you want to roll, so if you have resolve 3, you want to roll 3 or less. And then, of course, the Fallen Divinity finished off those knights, and then she's fighting with the, what do you call it here? Steel Legion after they marched on, and they have some pretty good rules. These guys can move up to like 15 inches when they come on, and they have outflank. I'll have to make better use of that so they can come in from the side. And then he's got this bone golems up here, and this is I scored a couple of points because I had more stands on this objective, so I got this one once because he did move closer as the game went on. I even forgot a regiment in this game. So they finish off the Fallen Divinity after they dropped the ball to try to kill it the first time. It only had 6 wounds left. I should have technically got it, but this thing gets evade 3. And the one thing I hate about this game is that my buddy won't finish this model, and it really detracts to my detracts at my attention because my autism says you need to finish this model, and he's like, "Oh, in good time." Let's see here. We'll go back over here. Yeah, so needless to say, the what do you call it? These guys right here, these fucking carries finished off my entire guy's unit. There's my men-at-arms. What I should have done was move the men-at-arms over here towards the carries as far as I could, because these guys made a long bomb charge against me. They moved, and then they needed like a 5 to get me or something like. From like this dice here, they needed like a 5 to get me. Or a 4 or a 5, and they got it. I think he got a 6. So their charge was wasted. And then we had a big fight over there with this unit. It went back and forth. Now, one of the things that he does is he can cast this spell. I forgot what it's called. And every time you draw a card, you take 5 hits for every single enemy base that's in base with yours. That's got to be BS in my opinion. It's a draw event. It's a spell. The bone golems have it. And let me see here. I should have one more. Where is? Guess it's not going to give it to me. Let me go out for a second. Go to 9. And the other issue by the end of this game here was I guess the Archimandrite can heal anything in his warband from anywhere on the table and just bring the bone golems back, because I was making short work of these guys, and then he just brought like 5 wounds of them back at a time, which really sucks, and that's kind of how the game ended. I'm going to need to find a way to strike at these guys directly, but getting rid of them before the Archimandrite shows up, I think that's a pipe dream. But I might want to consider just unlocking a giant squad of household knights and then bringing them. But these guys did really good for some reason. I think I saw a couple battle reports where people are bringing larger bricks of infantry in 100 Kingdoms, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's the way they're doing it now. I guess that's the way it shifted. But as far as like if you're not playing Conquest, I'd say you should get into it. One, the models, nobody's really avidly 3D printing the models. I like that. I really do like that. They have their own style, they're on a scale. The 38 millimeter scale, I had a problem with at first, but you know, as far as affordability, $200 gets you 1,000 points. You know, and it's like I told this, there was a guy I commented on his videos. I'm like, if $200 is a problem for you, then you have other priorities. You have other priorities than worrying about if you can afford games. If $200 is a problem for you, that for a lot of people that's like part of a paycheck at the end of the month. And if you don't have it, then you really should. Then your hobby needs to be a second job. Not begging for war games welfare like they do in the UK or some shit. Anyway, that's that. Just a quick little update on a game I had. This was our back game. So, yeah, I made one tactical blunder, and that was with my men-at-arms, where I should have marched them in front of those legionaries to free up a charge. Where was that photo? It was here. Yeah, so because I forgot my men-at-arms. I got everything together, and then I just neglected that. And I think what happened was I finished soft gluing all of my men-at-arms into their stands because they all come in a stand like this. And I put white glue down on the... Oh, they all come in a stand like this, and I put white glue down on the stand to keep these guys in there because it's just easier than... I'm too cheap to buy the fucking magnets. Okay, so we're going to get rid of display capture. We're going to turn on that. Display that. There we are. So here's a better shot of them. This is what they're going to look like when they're finished. I think I painted some of these before on stream. Somebody remembers, you can always leave a link in the description and it'll show up on Rumble. People can watch it at their leisure. Just a really quick job. Like you can tell I did a really quick job because this right here is supposed to be fabric. But on a fully armored guy, it doesn't really matter. I can make them fabric, but there's really no point. You just kind of go as fast as you can. And then we got a pile of guys here. And I'm just going to get into it. You know, we're going to tear into these guys and prime them up as fast as I can. We're going to turn our pressure down. See here, let's grab a clutch of these guys real quick and then get rid of that. And then we'll go back into chat here. Well, you know, I mean, okay, so thankfully Conquest is not as woke as Trench Crusade. That guy's just a British dude, and you know, you look at the sad state of affairs in the UK. And I always refer to the UK as a African migrant brothel or a Pakistani brothel. And, you know, in 1997, the British citizen decided to give up their guns, make fun of America because we still have guns, and now look at it. You're getting arrested for liking tweets. There you go. Isn't that great? And the last rally you guys had, you politely picked up your garbage and went home. That last rally you had with the flags and Tommy Robinson was probably your last chance. That was your last chance to go out into Britain and fuck shit up. And that means put cops in hospitals. End of story. You're not going to do that. You're not going to have your freedom. You're just going to continue being Africa's brothel. You know, and, you know, God, it was in the last thing when you had those slimy, limey Games Workshop employees. What about the hard-working class people of Gaza? Fuck Gaza. Fuck those people. I don't care about the Jews or the Palestinians. God damn, dude. Americans want out. We want out and we want our money back. The way I see it is Israel owes us $1.2 trillion in gold for all the freebies we give them. We literally pay for them to live. We literally pay for them to live. I'm going to put 1 drop of flow improver in this because I think 11 ought to be enough. 11 drops. But any excuse I can use to turn this baby on, I take it. Um, okay, my thoughts on Reaver Quartz and Euroni. I don't have any thoughts yet. Conquest is one of those games I don't get to play a lot, and right now my group is my friend met me after he met with the group playing Infinity. I'm not starting Infinity until after my vacation in November. There's just really no point for me to spend $140 before we go out of town, you know. So, and there's no way I can get to it. This box of guys I had sitting in a stack upstairs. I have a giant bin of shame that still has guys in it. Just gotta be mindful. There we go. So for the I think the Euroni are cool. I haven't seen. I just saw the Reaver Quartz yesterday. Um, they're like an offshoot of the what do you call it? The Spires. So we'll see. I never. I like the city states. They're like the newest faction that I like that I would play if Conquest were more of a thing. Simply because they have. I always wait until they flush out more of the range. Right now, the range for Euroni. Well, Euroni have been out for a little while, so it's a little more flushed out. It's kind of right on the 11 portion. One cool thing about the way the system is in Conquest and the way it works and they've done a good job at adding new armies without breaking the fucking game like they did with Grand Cafe. Here, we put an army solely on S tier because we gave it balloons that are 135 points and they're $200 a piece, but you're going to want 5 of them, and that's the reason they're 135 points. I mean, it's not perfect over there in Old World. I mean, there's already been a whisper of a 2.0 edition. Just going to second edition Old World, but I was reading the 4th edition rulebook, and it's more straightforward and less wordy. We need a rule set of fantasy that is just it's the same fantasy, but it's more straightforward and less wordy. And if you have to pay somebody some fucking royalties, pay them and move on, Games Workshop. Let it go. Because I know at the end of the day, you are not going to, since you sold your soul to BlackRock, number one, you're not Hasbro, which means you don't own the rights to Transformers, which is basically a license to print money if you do the right shit. If you do the right shit. You can't market Transformers. I have all the money. If I wanted to buy a bunch of Transformers on eBay right now, I could. Or I could go to the website and buy a whole bunch of those fucking Masterpiece ones. You know, they have, like, here's one that they're selling. Here's a transform. They have a Megatron that talks and transforms itself. An Optimus Prime and a Grimlock. The Megatron is huge for some reason. You'd think Grimlock would be a lot bigger. Ew. See, that's the problem right there. Let's do that again. See all that gunk that gets built up in there after a good airbrush session, just when you're done priming, like literally. Just when you're done priming. We'll get our crappy brush and we'll just kind of dig that around, but we are going to have to pull the needle on this motherfucker. If anybody has any better tips for keeping this clean, I don't know. It just... Do this one more time. Pull the needle on this. labor-intensive part done with. I hate this part. Sometimes it just cakes in there. See, look at all that. Well, that's okay. Nobody, you know, and I hope this is a lesson for everyone when it comes to the hobby. I just like how much work this is, but it is a time saver and everything. You know, even though I have to clean it, I still want to use it. Let's grab all that crap, all that sediment. You know, this isn't like what the influencers make it out to be. Let's do a blast of alcohol. Let that be a lesson to you. Nothing in this hobby is glamorous. That's what I'm going for. Nothing in this hobby is glamorous. Oh yeah, let it rip. All right, now we can switch to the next color. All right. So now I'm switching to a metallic at about 35 psi. I am going to put a little bit of this thinner in at the bottom. Kind of hopefully keep it from sticking. And this is metallic air. That might be a little bit too much. We'll just one more notch. Let's grab a guy here. Let's see. I use a tattoo cleaning machine kit. Okay. And then get a small ultrasonic and just let the particulates sit after a while. Throw a link into what you Rude, throw a link into what you mean with the small ultrasonic thing. I think I know what you're talking about, but just throw a link in chat and I'll pick it up and take a look on the internet real quick. Ultrasonic electric jewelry cleaner. Okay. There we go. Work these homeboys four at a time here. I mean, I really do like how I get to skip the dry brush phase. And then I can wash these guys. I was thinking about using this AK marker as a base for my blue. As a that these guys are going to get on their sleeves. Just kind of speed it along. Oh God, let it rip. Yeah. All right, we're about mid-tier, so I will put a drop of the thinner in there. That's about all I want. A little bit of thinner. And then we're going to add some more on top. Hopefully that mixes. Whatever I don't hit with the gun, I can probably fix with a... I'll show you. I can just fix it with a marker like these swords. And just go like that. Done. Done. Bigger models lend themselves well to these paint markers. You know, I'm surprised Games Workshop never did that back in the past. But, you know, I mean, what I hate is being in a Games Workshop. Okay, so if you go to store owner Dickhead's shop, he barely has super glue. He has nothing in terms of hobby supply. He has his one rack of paint. If I want a paint, I can go and pick up a specific paint if I'm in the area. But as far as his hobby supplies go, store owner Dickhead sucks Donkey Kong dong. Okay, so Old World is playable. It's a playable game. There is a game there. It isn't terrible. I still give it a 2 out of 5 because of the wordy rule book and the FAQ that they kind of... It's like, okay, and this is Games Workshop's biggest problem. They dump a game on the community and they expect us, the player base, to play test it for them, and then they'll make changes based on how much we bitch online. But the problem is this only works if you're spending $30 on a book. This only works if you're spending $30 on a book. If the primary rule book for Old World was $30 and it wasn't a hardbound piece of shit, that wouldn't be a problem. Okay, so we played the game for a year. They're coming out with a 1.5 rule book, and they've cleaned all the wording up and they made it sleek, and it's gonna be there for like a year or two. I have no trouble spending $30, but like $40K, you know, you drop your Necrons and now they have to FAQ them the next day, and you just spent $65 to get your rule book. That's the problem, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work because the rule books themselves, that's a commitment. So one of the things that Games Workshop did right in second edition 30K was this. This is the Heretic book. I'm going to open this up. Is there a table? I don't think there is a table of contents. Maybe. Yes, there's a table. There's a table of contents here. Okay. So you've got Legion, Leviathan, Daredeo, all the heavy supports right here that the armies can take. All of the fast attack that the armies can take. Okay? You have the elites, the troops, all of this is in the HQs, all of this is in one rule book. But what it comes down to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 armies in this book. I always forget about Alpha Legion. I don't give a shit about Alpha Legion personally. And I don't give a shit about the Sons of Horus. There you go. That's the, you know, this. I see the Sons of Horus played like once every blue moon, and I see these guys played once every blue moon. I will say, as far as like the armies are concerned, I see a lot of Emperor's Children. I see the most Death Guard, and then I see a lot of God, what's the World Eaters and Iron Warriors. I just don't see the, I mean, and Word Bearers, I just don't see the Sons of Horus and Alpha Legion and Thousand Sons as much. But you've got the armies right here. Okay? You put everything together in one book for the armies. They did the same thing for the good guys. I don't want arcane journals to get my Legion special traits. I want this. This is good. This is a step in the right direction. Multiple books to basically monetize every step in the hobby is going to be Games Workshop's downfall, because we'll just find other games, or we'll continue to play an older edition. I'll continue to play an older edition, and if I have to, I will start an online community or something like that for people who want to play the older edition. The fantasy guys have been doing that forever. There is a giant online presence for people who play old fantasy. Where it's like you can't get your shit together. And you come out with and 11th edition is just going to be a patch of 10th. It's going to be a patch. It's going to be a step in the wrong direction. And I couldn't have said it better. That's what I know. My friend gave me a shit ton of army books. I have the 6th edition books. I have the 8th edition books. I have all the books for 6th and 7th edition. All of the books. I have a lot of books for 5th edition. Not saying that I'd go back and play 4th edition. I have the 4th edition. I think I'm reading the 4th edition rulebook. No, the 5th edition rulebook. Sorry. I get them mixed up. But this is what you're driving us to when you try to like nickel and dime us for absolutely everything. As a gamer, I want a great product at a great price. That's it. That's all I want. Great product at a great price. I don't, and I want a rule set that will last me for a couple of years. What do I mean by a couple of years? Maybe it's maybe when and this is a good example. Hail Caesar went to 2nd edition after like a decade and a half, I think. I think the game came out in 2006. Maybe 2007, I think Hail Caesar was floating around. And then they went to a 2nd edition very recently in terms of like, yeah, it was like a decade and a half. They went to a 2nd edition because Rick Priestley wrote a solid set of rules. Shiny. If it comes down to it, me and my friends have already agreed to play 8th edition more than Old World. And people have already they went on their own little what do you call it? They went down the ninth age hole, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if I'm gonna spend, God, what is the fantasy rule book? Set a filter, you fucking idiot site. Seriously. Okay, it's $29 for an arcane journal. The War of Cetrus Fury. And this is kind of the way you do it, yeah. But that doesn't help me. All right, here you go. You're spending $70 on a book. That book needs to be play tested and thought through, not dumped on us. And then after a year, you know, you come in and it's like, oh, dragons are too powerful. Dragons are too powerful. I think they had the right idea with the way the shooting works and everything like that. But even shooting has made somewhat of a comeback. But they have a match played guide. And this is a missed opportunity where they could have taken the match play guide and get. I don't think they put the FAQ inside of the match play guide. So you know, I don't want to spend $70 on a hardbound book when you know you can give me a new rule book for literally for 28. You can give me a new rule book with everything cleaned up for 28. They need to go back to floppy books. Because every book you get isn't a fucking collector's item. I'd hate to have to be the bearer of bad news. If you're using the book as a collector's item, that means you're never going to fucking open it. It's like saying these figures are a collector's item. Kind of like using this as my dry brush, preferably. It just happens. It's like, I'll take it. I like the 8th edition books too, myself, and everything like that. I mean, that the fact that they never fully finished 8th edition before everybody got an army, and they did it with 3 armies left to spare, like, fuck you, we're going to Age of Sigmar. Now look at Age of Sigmar, it's a fucking mess. Look at 30K. You know what? There was no reason to add the Necromunda shit to it and then go down to a 4-turn game. The game needs to get back to, I want to be an orc and I want to smash something. Skaven, Bretonia, and Beastmen were the only ones who did not get a book for 8th edition. Here we go. We're all nice and dry. Done. Of course. Piece of fucking garbage. Just mixing chemicals like a meth head down here in the basement today. Gotta clean all that metal flake out of there. But the alcohol does make short work of it. the boring part, the cleaning part. And then it's clogged. Oh no. There it goes. That got it. Fuck with me, will ya? Look at that. I can't believe how much is still in there. Don't worry, I'll be gentle. There it is. There it is. Because I'm going to be doing a wash, I want to make sure I get most of that metal flake out of there. When next I fire this thing up. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh, we can putter around for 5 more minutes. Yeah, it's so glamorous being an airbrush artist. Look at that. I make it look so easy on YouTube. Fuck you. Your mother ain't shit. Oh yeah, that's a good base. We got a friend here. Let's do this. Come on. Now, I don't know if this is metal or fabric. You know what? I might keep it metal. I'm just looking at that and I'm just like, I don't know if that's metal or fabric. But I do know fabric is in the sleeves here. Well, thanks for coming in, Samuel. It's nice of you to drop by. What's up, Dungeon Brush Bobble? Oh, I'll have to do that. Yeah, my friend has a jar. I'm gonna have to ask what that is, but I do imagine I'll have to get one of those electric jewelry cleaners. Now, if I wanted to, I can make this fabric portion here on the legs blue, which I think I will for a couple of these guys. Might just give them a little bit more color. And you really start cooking once you start using that marker. And then all I have to do is just take a little paintbrush and highlight this stuff after I'm done washing it. Like, just the airbrush alone handling the weight of my dry brush, what my dry brush used to accomplish is, it's a huge step up. Let's just try this real quick here. Is this our corn red? Yep. Yeah, we're going to keep these metal on this batch. This part right here, we're just going to keep it metal. I think it's metal. It's open for, it literally looks like fabric, but I think it's metal, and we're just going to keep it metal. Keep it simple. And then what did I do for this side? I made all of that gold. All of that is gold. take a gold marker now, see if that helps us uplift this miniature just a little bit faster. I'll just leave the hilt metal because nobody's going to notice. We can go for these shoulder pads now. Still need a little bit of brush work, but this scale literally does I mean, I'd say I got a guy who's almost ready for battle for the most part. And then this is the one thing that I kind of hate are these bandages. I like to give them a little dusting of brown first. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Or at least I call them bandages. And then I can just see a little bit of flesh right there, so we'll put the brown in. And we'll put some dwarf on it. And there you go. You nearly have a guy who's ready for battle just at first glance right there. I mean, clean up his metal a little bit. We're going to highlight the gold, do the face a little bit there. But we do the gold trim right there with a brush. I wonder, where'd it go? You can always double up on the gold in certain spots, but yeah, you highlight up the gold one more shade. I mean, you can dip this guy now if you wanted to. You can just shake him off real good. He'd be done. We're going to do just a little bit more, but maybe we'll have to catch you in the next one. I'm waiting for. I hope you're still here. I'm waiting for what do you call it? The paint pens to be to come out from Army Painter. I think those are going to be really good. I should buy more of these. The problem is they don't sell them. They only sell the individual Army colors. I should have bought the brown pen last time I was in the hobby store. Save myself a little extra time. Yeah, but as far as like skipping shit, like using the pens and the markers, really good. Anyway, that is about it for me. Oh. All right. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today and spending your Sunday morning with me. Don't forget that the first installment of Monster Fest is live. Don't be afraid to watch it and leave a comment. It always makes me happy when I get a little bit more likes on those things because, you know, it's the season for Halloween, and I put a lot of time and effort into it. It's the one time a year I make exclusive content. The fourth installment of Monster Fest is live on Patreon. I will say that now. So if you want to stop by for the week, because that won't be released until the end of the month. And visit that early, that's fine. And then you can close your account out at the end of the month. But other than that, there's Monster Fest. There'll be a new video around Wednesday for Monster Fest 2025. And so don't forget to check out Monster Fest. If you want to get in touch with me, you can leave a comment. The YouTube algorithm works as follows. For every like I get, for every 8 likes I get to keep 1 like. If you tie that like to a comment, I get to keep the comment. That's how it works. That's literally how it works. So when you watch somebody's video, leave that comment. And then if you want to talk with me further, I'm available on Instagram. But in case I don't see you, keep painting, keep playing, and get yourself an airbrush and level up quickly. And we'll see you in the next one, gentlemen. Have a happy Sunday. And don't forget to check out Monster Fest. I'm going to move all this stuff. I will put that in the chat with some ghosts and bats. And we will see you guys probably Thursday unless I work another 12.5-hour day.